Good morning. Welcome back to Market Monday. Well, the Federal Reserve is meeting at this very moment throughout today and tomorrow when they'll announce their next hiking decision, which the market is pricing in a 99.8% chance of another 0.25% hike. That's right. You can see this light blue line right here was the probability a month ago, where you can see there was more of a chance of a 0.5% hike. And over the past few weeks, we see a gradual increase in probability to where we are today at a 99.8% probability. Then March 22nd being the next meeting, and many folks are expecting either a final 0.25% hike or even a pause at that time. This hiking cycle is particularly out of character because most of the time we have economic data like we're seeing lately. The Fed is actually lowering rates. Look at this, LEIs, leading economic indicators. This is the number of consecutive monthly declines. We're currently at 10 months. Usually when it's down for 6 months in a row, we're already in recession. But here we are, still hiking away. Here's another look at that same data, the LEIs. Whereas we just looked at the number of consecutive monthly declines, this is the year-over-year change. Again, we're at minus 7.4%. And most often, when it gets down to minus 2%, is when we're in recession. But we're still hiking. Well, are we or aren't we in recession? It helps to remind ourselves what are the criteria for determining a recession. The official arbiters of recession, the NBER, looks at 6 things. Here we're looking at the pre-pandemic figures in black for good measure, and the most recent 3 months in gold. What don't we see is negative data indicating recession. That's the whole debate. The NBER uses these data, which are largely lagging indicators, but the leading indicators are telling a different story. And yes, we're still hiking. And actually, the top 2 categories the NBER looks at are employment data. Lately, we've been talking a lot about tech layoffs. We've constantly referred to this as a right sizing, not an imminent crash of the whole tech sector. And in fact, just after we finished filming last week, Google Alphabet announced another 12,000 layoffs. Busy January indeed. But here's the other side of the story. Here in purple is the pandemic headcount growth at these tech companies: Microsoft, Google Alphabet, Amazon, and here's Facebook, Meta. Over 50% at Microsoft and Google, almost 100% headcount growth at Amazon and Facebook during the pandemic. And here in orange, these tiny slivers are the right sizing we've been talking about over the past month now. And this is the number of hires at the same companies. Microsoft and Google adding around 70,000 apiece during the pandemic, laying off 10 and 12,000. Look at Amazon. Wow. Adding almost 750,000 people during the pandemic and laying off 18,000 of those recently. Right sizing indeed. And of course, our weekly reminder to beware what you see in the media and social media headlines. We promise we're not picking on JP Morgan. Anybody who makes public calls will be wrong. And that's the point. A headline does not give anybody predictive power, even though we want to believe someone has figured out the unknown future. And here we are on December 9th, 2021, predicting a full global recovery in 2022. Then in May of last year, US stocks can climb out of this hole. Then in August, JP Morgan sees the S&P 500 hitting 4,800 by year end. As a reminder, it ended at $3,800 and change. And finally, looks like we're throwing in the towel on January 24th, just last week, finally embracing the hard landing ahead. Well, we are in the midst of tax season. You should receive most of your tax documents by the end of February. However, sometimes companies have to send corrected tax documents. We cannot control whether or not you will receive a corrected tax document or the timing of when you will receive it. However, we are more than happy to answer your questions about your tax documents and to make sure you're squared away with getting everything you need. So please don't hesitate to reach out to your advisor or service team for any help during tax season. Hope you all have a great week.